What's up, guys? Cameron, aka I'm the Crazy One here. So it's been a while since I've done a topic-based video. I've been wanting to do one. It's hard. I've done like 22, 23 of them already, and it's hard to kind of come up with new ideas. But recently I haven't been like really having issues with work or anything and stuff like that. But just like the past like month or two or something, it's just been a little more stressful than recently. Actually, I ended up finding out a couple weeks ago that all over, not just my store or anything, like stores all over. We used to have like four or five different ship supervisors, as they call it, and they would, help out the whole entire store. If someone, let's say, in produce needed help with someone, they would run over there and help them. If me, in the liquor store, needed help, or I need someone to cover me on my break, or I need to take a piss or something, I would call them over and they would come and help out. Well, a couple weeks ago, every single shift supervisor at every single store, including ours, got fired, and now that's not even a position anymore. So, yesterday was one of the first shifts that I worked after they did that, and yesterday it was just really busy for a Tuesday. It was just a total shit show. I ended up like calling someone over a couple times to come help, and I didn't get a response. And then by the time that I help like the eight, nine customers that I have in line and stuff, by the time one of the managers finally got over there, which he was a new guy that transferred from Holman and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, sorry, man. I tried getting over here quick, but I was helping someone else." I'm like, "It is what it is." But normally we had no issues, right? When we called someone, they responded back, and they would be there at least like a minute or two later and help out the rest of the customers and get through it and stuff. But now it's like pretty much what, like, they had a sheet yesterday that they wrote down saying if like you need someone to cover a bathroom break or something, it's people up front that help in like guest services and stuff now. So I don't know if they're going to be scheduling more people to work in guest services at night, because sometimes they only have like one or two people in there. I don't know if they're going to have like three or four people helping out in there so they can have people run around the store and help out and stuff. But it's just really stupid. But yeah, just dealing with the stress recently made me want to make a video just titled "Work" and talk about, like like pros of working and like cons of working, and talk about like kind of, why you got to work or why I hate working. Just it'll be a weird video. It might be shorter than some, it might be long. I might just kind of ramble on and talk about stupid shit. Who knows? But yeah, I don't know. It's just a crazy thing. It's crazy to think that if we want to, a lot of kids don't do it. I know there's kids that I went to high school with that didn't get their first job until after we graduated, when they're like 18, 19 years old. And then there's some kids that I've worked at jobs before, or that get jobs at 14, and stuff, because they want to start saving up so they can, get a car, when they turn 16, when they get their license, or they just want to have more money in general for video games or whatever shit they want to get. And I think it's just ridiculous that if you want to, you can start working at age 14, as young as that, and then at least you can maybe retire at 60, 55 or something like that if you work a good job and save up enough money to live a life after that. But if you don't, and then I know there's people that I work with. There's a guy, Art, and he only works part time. He has to get knee surgery and stuff soon, but his birthday was Saturday, so the 19th, right before Easter, and he turned 77. I knew that he was old, but I didn't know that he was that old. And then there's another lady that I work there, and she's 74, so and stuff. So these people, are in their fucking 70s and are still having to work part-time jobs because this economy is so fucked. Like, I really hope that I don't have to be working in my 70s, because if I was still working, past 65 or anything, I would probably, sorry YouTube, but I don't want to get age restricted or demonetized, but I would probably unalive myself, is the way I'll put it. Um, and I never want to do that. I never want to. commit suicide or do anything like that. I've, been suicidal, dealt with depression and stuff, but I want to live out my life until I die of natural causes or sickness or whatever I end up passing away from. But I can't see myself living my 60s, and that's why right now, with my disabilities and stuff, I'm really working on trying to get on Social Security or disability. And, if I ever do lose this job or something, at least I have something else to rely on. But we'll see how my body is and my disabilities are when I get older and stuff. But I don't even know if I'll be working past 50. And if I do, I might only be working 5-10 hours a week because I feel like that's all I could really do. But it's just a fucking crazy, retarded concept that we have to work, at the earliest 14 until we're 65 years old, and that's technically like retirement time. That's when you can, start getting Social Security for being older and stuff, and it's just crazy. Yeah, I just I got my first job when I was 16. I ended up working at Marcus Theater from 16 until right after I turned 19. And I ended up getting fired for a retarded reason. Here's another story. So I was also kind of stupid since that was my first job, and I did miss a lot of work because I was dealing with stomach issues like I am now. So there's lots of times where I was at work and I was like throwing up and or just throwing up, and feeling like sick at school and trying to ask people that I worked with, that I went to school with, if they could cover me. And a lot of people that I went to school with and stuff that worked there were fucking assholes. Like, I get it, they're kids and stuff, but they did not want to work. Like, there was only one kid that I worked with. I can't even remember his name, and I went to school with. I think it was my buddy Eric or something that was really cool. And if he wasn't working the same shift as me, he would try his best to cover if he wasn't busy. But most other kids I asked, like this kid Ben that I went to school with, and Will, like Seth, all these motherfuckers, like anytime I asked if they could cover me, they're like, oh, I got this going on or got this going on. And then like I would ask one of their friends, I'd be like, hey, did you know if they're busy? I'm like, no, we ended up hanging out and playing video games. I'm like, really? It's like, fuck you guys. But what ended up happening is when I was dealing with my stomach issues, I was dating one of my exes at my time, probably one of the worst girlfriends I ever had. But me and her worked together. So I don't remember my exact shift, but I might have been scheduled like 11 o'clock until like 4 or 5, something like that. And it was the whole entire time I was there, I was just feeling sick. And I asked them, I was like, hey, can I like, hand out tickets? Can I, fucking clean theaters, something? And I'm like, I'm really sick, today I've been like throwing up, just, diarrhea, I feel terrible. And my boss at first, he's like, yeah, well, we got someone already doing both of those jobs right now. I guess just work concessions and maybe a couple of hours. If you're still feeling bad, we can put you somewhere else. I'm like, all right, technically against the law, you can't have someone that's throwing up and have diarrhea and everything and stuff working with food, but whatever, they were fucking corrupt dumbasses. So I worked there for a little bit. I think I worked for a couple hours and was trying to do my best, but I was slower than normal because I didn't have energy and stuff. I think around like 1:32 or something like that, I went to the bathroom and sorry for the TMI, but I like shit my brains out because I had straight just like Hershey squirts, diarrhea. And then after that, went back, and then like 15 minutes later, I felt like I was going to puke, and I didn't even make it to the bathroom. We had this rolling trash can and stuff, like, because the way that we had the concession stand in our new building set up is like we had like a little door out like right by our concession stand that was like for storage, where we kept like popcorn, like butter topping, a lot of shit like that. So I literally like went in there and started puking in the garbage can. And one of my managers just like walked past me and just gave me this side eye and then went in there. They didn't even ask like, oh, are you okay, or anything, and like offered like send me home or anything. I'm like just like straight vomiting. I bet even like customers and probably people in the concession stand when that door opened up probably heard me and like, what the fuck? But nobody came in. My manager didn't ask me if I was okay or anything and stuff. And I went to the bathroom and stuff, and I sat in there for a little bit, like and just like kind of like rinsed my mouth out and got a sip of water and stuff, and went back to work for a little bit longer, even though I just threw up, because I'm like, they're probably not going to let me go home. They're fucking assholes. They keep thinking that I'm like faking my sickness and stuff. So I went, worked for a little bit, worked about another 20 minutes, half an hour, and it was probably like around like 3:30, close to 4 or something like that. And then I ended up, not, I was feeling a little nauseous, but not too bad. But I was feeling more dehydrated, like I was going to pass out or something. So I ended up just like, grabbing a water cup, went and got, I think I ended up getting some like Powerade or something because I was sick of water, and just something to maybe help me get a little bit hydrated. Went to the break room, sat down for a couple minutes, drank some of that, and ended up feeling nauseous again. Threw up in the garbage can in the break room. Yes, I threw up in 2 different garbage cans that day, sadly. That's how sick I was. And around that time, my girlfriend at the time ended up coming in there, and I was throwing up in there, and she's like, "Oh shit, babe, are you all right?" I'm like, "No, I've been fucking sick all day," and I asked, if I could do lighter jobs and stuff, and James, and that was my boss's name, James, and whatever other fucking person I was working with, I think like, I can't even remember her name. I think it was like Heaven or something like that. But just that day, I just asked them. I was like, I'm throwing up and stuff. I need to go home. And they're like, well, we're a little understaffed. A couple people called in and stuff today already, so we need you and stuff. So I was throwing up, and she came in and stuff like that. And I told her, I was like, yeah. Now that you're here and stuff, when they have some extra people coming in and stuff, I'm just clocking out. He's like, I know I'm supposed to be here for another hour or two, but I'm just clocking out. I don't care if they fire me or whatever and stuff. And she's like, all right. And then she went to go do her thing and stuff. And I'm still, and then I end up kind of like throwing up a little bit more in the trash can and stuff. A couple other people came in. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know it probably smells terrible in here for me puking in the trash can, but I just feel bad. And everyone like, oh, it's okay, Cam. I'm sorry that you're feeling like this. Everyone was just like so like sympathetic and so nice about it. And then my fucking boss, James, comes in as I'm still puking and stuff. And there's like another person in there, like trying to like, make sure I'm okay. And he just looks at me. He's like, Cameron, you've been gone for like 10 minutes. Are you going to come back to work, man? And stuff. And I'm still puking. He's asking me this question. So I finished like throwing up, and I just look at him and I'm like, dude, I have never sworn at you once since in like the 3.5 years I've been here. But this is the first time I'm going to. I'm like, do you really fucking think I'm going to go back to work? Like, I've thrown up 3 different times at work. This is the second garbage can I've thrown up to today. I've been feeling like shit. I've told you guys ever since I came in at 11 that I feel like shit, and you aren't letting me go home. Like, literally, Heaven walked past me throwing up in the other trash can in our storage area, and she didn't bother to ask me, oh, are you okay, Cam? Like, do you need to go home or anything and stuff? She just walked past me, gave me a side eye, like I was forcing myself to throw up or something like that. And James pretty much just said, well, you call in all the time and stuff. It's like, yeah, you get us doctor's note, but you call in like all the fucking time. It's like we're starting to think, it's a pattern. We're starting to think this is bullshit. I'm like, I have stomach issues that I have no idea what's going on. I've been dealing with this since I was 16. And I'm 19 now. I'm like, I'm sorry. If you guys have a problem with it, like, fire me. Like, you don't have to keep me here and stuff. He's like, well, whatever, man. He's like, get back to work when you can. Like, we still need you. I just told him, I was like, fuck you. I'm not going back to work. He's like, well, if you leave, you're fired. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever. And then he leaves, like slams the door all pissy and goes to his office and stuff. And then whoever was in there and stuff, I don't even remember who it was, but I just told him, I was like, this job is a fucking shithole. Like, this place sucks. And they're like, yeah, believe me, I know it is, but it's my first job and I want to stick with it until after high school. I'm like, yeah, I get it. So I just clocked out and I left after that. And I didn't even live 5 minutes away. I was not even on the road for maybe like a minute, just about to turn down the road that I used to live on at my mom's place. And I get a call, and it's James. He's like, so did you end up leaving? I'm like, yeah, I told you I was going to. He's like, oh, I kind of figured you were and stuff like that. He's like, all right, man. He's like, you can bring your work clothes in tomorrow. You're done. You're fired. You're not working here anymore. I was like, I kind of figured. I was like, hey, James, before you get off the phone, I'm like, you're a fucking douchebag. And I hung up on him. And then I ended up going back home, taking, some medicine and stuff, going to sleep. And yeah, the next day I ended up packing up all my work clothes. I didn't even wash it or anything. They were probably dirty from wearing them 2 days in a row at work. And I think I even ended up getting a little bit of puke on it and stuff like that from throwing up. And I didn't even wash it. I just threw it in some shitty plastic bag from Walmart and brought it over there and stuff. And I handed it to James and stuff the next day. I was like, "Here you go, asshole!" And I fucking handed him the bag, and I ended up leaving. And I've been there a couple times and stuff because that's the only movie theater we really have in town where I live. We do have another one, but it's like an older movie theater and stuff, and they don't have a whole lot of movies. They literally have two theaters in there, a big one and then like a smaller like screening room. But yeah, I've been there a couple times. My old boss isn't working there. The only manager that's working there anymore is this guy named TK. He was very cool. I've seen him a couple times in person, and when I've went there, he's been working. I've talked to him, and he's super cool. He's a big metalhead and just a cool guy. But I've gotten fired in a lot of shitty ways from jobs like that. I ended up working at Mayo, which is a hospital where I live out here and stuff like that. And I worked dietary aid for a little bit, and I was literally about a week away from my probationary time. So it would have been like 3 months, and then I would have been able to take more sick days. I would have gotten a pay raise. Probably went from like, I think I was making 11.50. I probably would have went to like 13, $14 after that, and maybe could have been working a little more hours. When I started, I was right around 40, but kind of went down to like around like 30 or something like that. So I probably would have gotten more hours since it was technically I would have gotten a little more of a promotion because they were trying to kind of teach me how to do more stuff. I was slowly working my way up, and it was literally a week away, yeah, from my 3 months. And I was sick with the flu, like really bad. It's kind of same thing at Marcus. I was throwing up a lot. I felt terrible. So, and one of the main things that I did, and it could be a pain in the ass if it was a busy day, but it wasn't too bad. It was luckily kind of a calm day, but I collected food trays from like patient rooms and everything. And I was doing that and went up there to grab a couple more and bring them down. And then after that, it was about time to take my lunch break. And I ended up collecting these food trays. And one thing that I will mention is the only time I was able to kind of like hydrate and drink anything is because for some reason, I don't know why, you couldn't keep like a water bottle or anything on the cart that you're pushing to collect the trays with. I don't know why. So the only time that I was able to like grab some water or do anything is when I was downstairs in the break room. But I would go down there and sit down for a couple minutes, take a water break, and then my boss would come like, "Hey, like you need to be doing your job. You can't keep sitting down here and taking a break and stuff like that." And I'm like, "I'm sick, and you forced me to come into work because I already missed a couple days. Because if you miss 3 shifts within a year, 3 months, they would fire you. That was their stupid policy that they have. It doesn't matter what happened and stuff, which was fucking ridiculous. So I'm like, I'm sick. Like, I need to hydrate. Like, do you want me to like pass out or faint or something like that when I'm working? She's like, no, I don't. But she was like, you also got to be working, doing your job. You're kind of run behind. I'm like, I'm sorry. Do you want someone else to do my job for me and I can go home? She's like, no, then you'll end up getting fired. And I didn't say fuck you, but I thought in the back of my mind, I'm like, really, you fucking bitch. So I ended up, going collecting those food trays. Then I kind of parked my car outside one of the bathrooms upstairs, and I went inside the bathroom and puked my brains out, and then ended up literally fainting because I was so dehydrated after throwing up. And I ended up waking up, and I'm just like covered in my own puke, and just I think when I ended up fainting, I ended up like hitting my head on the wall and stuff too. So my head was fucking pounding. Like, what the fuck happened and stuff. And then I was still kind of dizzy. I tried getting up and fell over. So I ended up just pulling like their emergency cord thing that they have in the bathrooms at hospitals, and kind of like unlock the door so they could come in and stuff. they open the door and they're like, "Are you all right? What the fuck happened?" Well, obviously they didn't say what the fuck happened, but they're like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm one of the dietary people. You could probably tell from what I'm wearing." But I'm like, I was just collected a few trays, came in here to use the bathroom. I'm sick with the flu really bad right now. I threw up and ended up just passing out. I don't know what happened, but I think I might have hit my head. I don't know if I got a concussion or anything and stuff. And they're like, "All right, like we'll be back." And they like one nurse and stuff from the desk. She sat up there with me, made sure I was okay. They ran and ended up grabbing a wheelchair for me and took me into the ER there. And just, they gave me some fluids. Just kind of did everything they could. And I didn't obviously work the rest of my shift after that stuff. But my boss even came over to the ER and checked on me and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, whenever you get out of here, just come over, bring your doctor's note over, and we'll, figure everything out." I'm like, "Okay, cool." I probably, even though I'm technically missing my third day, I shouldn't get fired or anything. Like, this was at work. I couldn't control it. My boss came over here to, see and kind of get her proof that I'm in the hospital and stuff right now because of this. And so I ended up getting my fluids, and they kind of gave me my doctor's note, like, "Oh, you should probably take the next couple of days off and relax and go back to work." I'm like, "All right." I walk over there and stuff, even though I'm feeling like shit. Went into my boss's office, and I'm like, "Hey, like, here's the doctor's note. They say, hey, I need to rest a couple more days and stuff, and then I should be able to come back to work." She's like, "Well, thanks for reading the doctor's note and stuff," but she's like, "Well, this is technically your third day that you're missing and stuff, so it's our policy, as you know, we gotta let you go." I lost my cool, but not that bad. I'm like, "Really? Are you kidding me?" Like, I understand the policy, but it's like, you came over and saw that I was in the hospital. You knew that I passed out. They called down to you and everything, told you what happened. It's like, you guys can't cut me some slack and give me a break and let me just come back and start working and be better in a couple days. They're like, "Nope, can't do that. I'll lose my job or something if I try sticking my foot out for you." I just told her, I was like, "That's fucking bullshit." I'm like, "Fuck you guys and fuck your policy." I ended up leaving and walking out and stuff, and I went to walk to my car out in the entrance, and there was this one lady that, she was older, but she was nice. She wasn't super old, probably 40s or something like that, but she was sweet. She was actually the one that trained me on my job and stuff. She's like, "Where are you going? Like, your shift shouldn't be done yet. You shouldn't be out here until like 2:33." Like, "Nope, I just got fired. I don't know if you heard, but I've been sick all day, and I ended up fainting upstairs and I had to be taken in by a wheelchair to the ER, and this is my third day that I've missed, so Kendra just fired me." And she's like, "Oh, that's fucking bullshit." And as I'm doing this, Kendra comes up behind me and she's like, "You can't be talking to other employees about you just getting fired. That's against the policy." I just looked at her. I was like, "Who gives a?" I'm like, "Fuck you. You just fired me. I'm not an employee here anymore. I can do whatever the fuck I want." She's like, "Do I have to call security to take you out of here?" I'm like, "No, I'll leave." I'm like, "I'm not trying to cause any issues," but she just asked me where I'm going. I simply told her and stuff. She's like, "All right, bye, Cameron." She's like, "You can bring in your work clothes whenever." And kind of same thing I did to fucking James at Marcus. Whoops, I was like, "Cool, thanks, Kendra. Fuck you." And then I ended up leaving and brought my work clothes in the next day for that place. Even though they did that, I ended up going back home doing laundry and brought my clothes in the next day and stuff too. But yeah, they end up trying to fuck me over and stuff too. I was trying to get back on food stamps around that time since I lost a job and stuff, and there was some stuff that Food Share needed filled out from them, and they didn't want to fucking do it. They're like, "Oh, you don't work here anymore. We're not going to fill that out for you." And then I ended up having to go through like HR, which trying to figure out like where HR was there was a fucking huge thing. They told me, "Oh, in the building across the street where you had to fill out some stuff, that's where HR is over there. So you have to go over there and bring in whatever you have to do." I go over there and they're like, "Oh, we don't fill it out here. You're gonna have to send that stuff in through an email." And they gave me an email, and I sent the email. They're like, "Oh, this isn't the right email. You have to send it here." And they finally gave me the right email, and I sent it in, but I had to wait like a week before I finally got a response. So they're like, "Oh, it's Cameron, sorry, it's been a while. Our main HR person was out of office, and they just got this received. We'll fill it out as soon as possible." So it took like, I was sitting around for like 2 weeks, like broke, not making any money. The only money we really had was my roommate at the time. Just sucked. But now this whole entire story about talking about just work and why I think like jobs can suck and why working I think is such a stupid thing. Ended up talking about just me getting fired from jobs in stupid ways. But I guess kind of the moral of the story is kind of what I'm getting at is I think us having to work from 14 to 65 or 16 to 65 whenever you start working is fucking stupid. Like I don't think like everyone in this world should be able to just sit on their ass and get money for free or whatever and stuff and not have to do anything. Having to work for an apartment, to afford a car, to afford electronics, like my PS5 that I'm using to make this video right now, to buy TVs, shoes, clothing, whatever and stuff. It is rewarding and stuff. And even though I only work part time because of my disabilities and like work like 15 hours a week, but I'm making my $200 a week and stuff like that, and be able to buy like my new JBL speaker that I got for Black Friday. And a couple of years ago when I got a big check when I still worked at Papa Murphy's, I got like a $650 check because I worked like a good amount of hours for the holidays, and then go out and buy myself a new PS5, buy whatever I need. I just got new tires on my car recently because I needed it for winter, and just all this shit. It is rewarding. And when I wasn't working for 6 months straight after Papa Murphy's fired me before I got my new job and stuff, it was super nice to get back into a job and start working instead of sitting on my ass. But I think instead of the retirement age being 65 and stuff, I really think like the retirement age should be like 50, 55 years old. I don't think working, from at least 14 to 65 is stupid. I know I've been repeating myself a lot, but I think it's fucking retarded. You shouldn't have to work those many years before you can retire. And it's like it's really impossible now in this economy because everything's, inflation, everything's getting more expensive. It's like I said, it's almost impossible. I mean, fucking that guy that I was telling you that I work with, 77 years old, and he's still working part-time. He's 3 years away from being 80. He has to get knee surgery because he's getting old and everything. And who knows? Or this guy that I work with, he could fucking die at any point because he's getting old. He probably won't. His health is pretty good, and for being as old as he is, other than his knees and stuff. But he's old. He's getting up there in age and stuff. Your body starts getting out. I'm only 26 and I already have fucking back pain, leg issues, shoulder issues and stuff already at my age. I don't know what I'm gonna even be like in my 40s. But it's ridiculous. And I've worked so many shitty jobs in my place and stuff, like so many jobs that just treated me like shit, like Marcus, Mayo. Even when I worked at Famous Dave's, I only worked a couple days and ended up leaving because the owner and main manager there was a douchebag. And just so many places that I've worked that just treated me like trash. And that's, like I said, that's another main reason I do want to get on Social Security. I don't want to, like, get disability and, like, quit where I'm working at right now and not work and just do that for the rest of my life. But at the same time, like, I just need a break. Like, I don't work a whole lot and stuff recently, but I've been dealing with so much shit. Like, I have the gallbladder issues that I'm dealing with right now. I've, been dealing with other personal issues, like this stupid girl that I went to high school with and stuff. Like, me and her aren't good, but we don't talk. We almost never see each other at work anymore because of the issues and stuff. But she started causing me issues, so even my work life was shit because she was being a bitch. And I'm dealing with like other fucking issues of another girl that she was friends with fucking coming in and like harassing me one day at work. And the only reason that this fucking girl probably knew that I even worked at where I am is because of the stupid bitch that I work with. And it's ridiculous. Like, my job's starting to get better. It's been fine recently. Like, I worked yesterday and I go to work again today. And yesterday, yeah, like I said, it was busy and trying to deal with that new supervisor, just, that position being terminated. It's been rough, but I'm hoping tonight should be calmer. I'm hoping it's not as busy today, and if it is, hopefully they'll have. Oh, that was a great voice crap. Hopefully we'll have some more people in tonight to help me out and stuff. But yeah, I just, especially with like my body and my health and everything and stuff, I don't even know if I'm going to be working into my 50s and stuff. I might just, even though it might be hard, just try to live off of Social Security or something like that by that age and do what I got to do. But all right, guys, I'm gonna end the video there. Pretty soon here. I'm probably tomorrow or Friday or something like. Well, not Friday actually. I'll be at a concert Friday, but maybe tomorrow or sometime this weekend. I'm probably gonna record and get out another bully video for you guys. I've just been was busy all weekend for Easter and WrestleMania weekend with my cousin and stuff. But now that I'm gonna have a little more free time, I'll try to record something for you guys.